Yo, welcome back to Total Spotfest. I'm Jamie, that's JJ, and we have a totally amazing special guest. The Cult of Gary J, the Stiff Robo Ginger, the Unsigned and Don't Care, Gary fucking J.
He's got the shirt. It even says it. As much as I like that shirt, I enjoy the Batman shirt more.
Well, I got permanent Batman, so I just go with that.
So do I. So yeah.
I know, right?
We totally turned this into a pissing contest.
No, we're not going there. I'm going to lose. I know this. I think that's why I was so endeared to you from the first time. It was markdom at first sight. You know, I was like, oh. This is my people. This is, yes, indeed. So, Gary, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We are thrilled to have you here, one of our longtime favorites, longstanding participant member of the Journey Pro family, as well as the St. Louis Anarchy family. And those of you watching who have not seen Gary, you obviously don't watch independent wrestling because you are goddamn everywhere. Let's just be honest, right?
I try to be. You got to keep the lights on and feed the cats and the peeps somehow.
Speaking of, right?
I wonder if we were going to get a cameo. We sure as hell did. So
yeah, that's Woody.
Woody, that's awesome. Yeah, like you are absolutely everywhere. I know. When this is airing, you've already been out to. No, you'll be right back from Texas at that point.
Right. Last weekend you were down in San Antonio and Houston.
No, that's this weekend. I'm in San Antonio on Friday, and then I'm in Houston on Saturday. But last weekend I was supposed to be in Sherman, Texas on Friday, but that's when we get that shit blizzard of ice.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, exactly. So, and I think
yeah.
Yeah,
and like you speaking of just being everywhere, like when anybody looks you up on the World Wide Web, like you are literally I mean, obviously it's not search history or anything crazy like that, but you are literally everywhere, my friend. Like you've how many different promotions did you wrestle for in 2021? I am just curious, even during COVID.
I probably should have counted, but I think once there's some kind of list online that's saying, like, hey, my cat's there goes my water. Thanks a lot, pal. Woody's all about the jokes. Let me get my water. I think if you look it up on Twitter, someone put like a list of like the people that had wrestled the most in 2020 during COVID. I think I'm 16. I'm like number 16 on the list. I actually wish I still counted and wrote it all down when I first started. So many decades ago. I used to write everything in a notebook. And
okay.
I really did that, like an actual notebook, like a 5-ring, 5-star binder kind of thing. But I mean, now kids don't even know what that shit is. It's all on a fucking pad or
iPad. You say Trapper Keeper, they look at you like you're like, is that the new rap music? And I'm like, no, God damn it,
But no, I honestly don't know how many promotions I work for, but I'll say a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I mean, on that note there, I wanted to ask you about that because you have wrestled a lot, I mean, do you ever get to the thing where it's like, oh, I'm so excited to go there. Oh, wait, I've been there like 18 times. And, or do you remember it all, like all the different ones, or does it kind of all blend together a little bit?
It depends. There's obviously places that I favor that I'm at bi-monthly or every month. The Journey Pro, obviously, is somewhere where I'm constantly. I'm a homestay. I'm a homegrown guy, as I call myself. And then you got the St. Louis Anarchy, where at the time, mayor of Spalding Hall. So, like, those two places I frequent a lot. Texas used to be a home for me back when I first started in, traveling in 2006, 7, and 8. So, like, now I'm getting to Texas more now that I'm, like, old and tenured and, like, grumpy old vet. So, like, I like going to Texas. There's a lot of good places down there, like Heavy Metal. I'm going on Friday, and then Russell Rave in Houston. Those are really fun places. Like, I'm stoked. I don't know. I like traveling, and I like, fighting new people all the time. So it's one of those things where, like, sometimes stuff kind of meshes together if it's a long weekend on the road. But at the end of the day, like, I remember a little bit of everything.
Okay.
That's awesome. So speaking of wrestling, a lot of people, I want to talk about one in particular. I know.
Just get out of the way. Get out of the way early, Jamie.
We're gonna get it away early. You and Jeremy Wyatt have had some of the most epic matches I have ever seen. And his technical side and your legit I don't give a fuck side like mesh so beautifully in the ring. I can't fathom like how it works. How many times have you guys officially wrestled? Like I know of 3.
Well, we got the big 3 that we know of.
Big 3 that talks about, I would say, like there was 1 or 2 times way before that when we were both very, very early stages of our career, which I wouldn't be able to tell you where. Google it, or I think there's might have it possibly. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I think what everybody remembers is the one we did at Journey Pro on a Thursday night when they were running in
Kansas.
Oh, fuck. Love that place. Great fucking atmosphere. And then you pack 500 fuckers in there at once. It's amazing. We went an hour in Kansas.
It didn't feel like an hour. I remember when they re-aired it a little bit ago. I watched it again, and it still didn't feel like an hour because it was that good.
I appreciate that. Thank you. But at the end of the day, as much as I don't like giving Jeremy any credit, it takes 2, man. Like, that dude is probably one of the best in the world that will never get the fucking credit for it. But he's a dude. Don't want to give him the credit for it.
I know. He won't do a goddamn lion tamer. I've been banging him up since NWL. So, you know.
You got the hour in Kansas Hall, which eventually circled to Circus Maximus when we returned, finally.
Another hour.
New called the Madhouse of Anarchy / we're ripping off the Madhouse of Extreme. In Granite City, the Elks Lodge. Once again, we'll toot our own horn. 500 plus there for a return. Not a lot of people can do that. That place was massive and outside, so it worked perfectly for the situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We decided to go another hour and 100 plus. Fuck. It was I remember that vividly. Like, I think I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Like, you sweat to a point where you stop sweating and then you start swinging again, and then you shivers, and then you're sweating more. Like, I sweat so bad that my my red gear that I wear, like the tights I wear, bled through and bled into my undergear. So like it was like a yeah, it was.
Everything's pink now.
Yeah, it was insane. Well, that and like how many times you see guys going there like not back to back, but like Journey we went an hour, Anarchy we went an hour. It's like how many people in the Indies do that these days and keep people appealed and keep their attention for a whole hour straight?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then you finally have the blow off at Mega Tickets where I finally dethroned the king, as they say, the monarch. And I took the title.
I mean, that was such a feel good moment for those who are into Missouri wrestling at all. You know, if you are at all, I thought it was a great feel good moment. Plus, I love the fact that we finally got, and after the second one, I remember we were talking because we shot like the day after Circus Maximus, one of our regular episodes, and we were like, they got to have like something massive planned for like the blow off, right? It's got to be like for because it's Journey Pro hour long. Time limit, and then the return in Anarchy hour long time. They got to have something. And I love the stipulation of, period, end of sentence, there must be a winner. Even if it takes all goddamn night long. Fantastic.
Yeah. I'm glad it didn't take all night long. It took about 20 minutes, but 20 minutes.
Go figure. Yeah. I thought it'd been ironic if you did I was hitting up a DJ. It's like you gotta do like a cross promotion, like Student Columbia, like a meet in the middle, half Anarchy, half Journey Pro thing, and they could have it right there and be but I don't. That's why I don't book shows. I guess whatever.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. It's a full-time job because you lose more hair than you already have.
Right. So so you are the current reigning and defending.
Yep.
Although grammatically that's not correct, but you're the current reigning St. Louis Anarchy Gateway Gateway Heritage Champion.
Yep, Gateway Heritage.
It's because it's not necessarily it is St. Louis Anarchy's belt, really, right? Yeah. I mean, it was defended at Journey Pro, but
there's a lot of lineage to that title that a lot of people don't know about. That all weighs back into like 2003. So okay. Like once again, cage match and Google will do you wonders if you get bored. But yeah, the lineage pretty much starts like before then, but it gets actually popular when Anarchy deems it the Gateway Heritage Championship, and then.
Okay. And I know you're defending that at Anarchy's March show. I think it was just announced, well, as of recording, as of a few days ago, if I'm not mistaken. You're defending that against Anthony Henry, right?
That's correct. March 4th in our beautiful home, as I call it now, just home. For motivation, yep, it's the main event, Gateway Heritage Championship. Myself versus Anthony Henry, and if you don't know who Anthony Henry is, look him up. That's a bad motherfucker right there. Like, he's probably one of the most legit guys on the fucking scene right now. He had a good stint in NXT/WWE as well, so like he's hot off.
Oh yeah, he's well worth a search. Go on YouTube, look him up because he's put together some good stuff here. So, do you enjoy wrestling new people, or do you kind of enjoy getting into a rhythm with other performers, sort of like I said, we talked about you and Wyatt, but you've also had some familiarity and journey in Anarchy with some guys here and there. Do you kind of which one do you like? Do you like the kind of the new variety of difference with new people, or going back to kind of do something new with somebody you're already kind of familiar with?
I like both sides of it. I've noticed more now that I'm older. Like, I like to wrestle people that are a little less tenured than myself. I guess people would say like newer kids, rookies per se, or whatever you want to call them.
Okay.
I like to work with them because at that point, like, I'm at the point in my career now where like I feel I have a decent amount enough to offer, and if you get in the ring with you, you'll learn something. And if you hang around with me long enough, I'll probably end up liking you, and then you can travel with me.
That's cool. So speaking of new guys, when not that long ago, it was not a Die Hard 2's Christmas movie, but it was the one right before that for Journey Pro. You had a match with JDX. And that's a new guy that we interviewed and had a really good time with. And my question is, I'm pivoting, is of the new guys you've wrestled so far, I never want you ever to call out anybody negatively, but always positive. Like, who are some of the young guys that you've really enjoyed working with, say, over the past year that you're like, you need to watch out for that guy, or he did really good, he earned my respect?
JDX, obviously, he's pretty hot on the scene all over the place now. He's finally getting like some credit where it's due. Loved working with him. I mean, in like, to me, I don't just hand out respect like it's a fucking hug and high five like most wrestlers do, because that's what the fucking scene is brother bullshit.
Right.
Like, you can actually go out there and go. So I'd say definitely JDX. A lot of people aren't familiar with him yet, but they will be. I call him Diesel/Anakin Murphy. He's a kid that like I've grown accustomed to, and if you know Diesel at all /Anakin, I call him Diesel because I'm Shawn Michaels. So he's my Diesel, basically.
He's your Diesel.
I've grown very accustomed to him because he's only a couple years in, and he's just trying to, learn and travel. He's with me constantly on the road, and he was a smaller guy. Like, he's small. He's 40, 50 pounds. And when I started, I was about the same size, if not a little bigger. It's not like I'm fucking huge now, but I've kind of leaned up a little bit. But and back then in 2003 when I first started, I always got beat up or I always got shit because, oh, you're too small. You're too small. Fuck that. Like, I tell them all the time, like, you're going to hear this 1,000 fucking times. Oh, you're too small. I think you need to work out, gain a little size, and you do what works for you. I'm not saying you got to go crazy with it, but, like, you're going to hear that a billion times in your careers. You need to get bigger. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 2022. The mold of a professional wrestler is a lot different than it was in fucking 87, 86, and like 1990, If you want to work out and be jacked and stacked, fucking terrific. You just got to do what works for you, and you got to stay positive. And like you just said earlier, you want to talk about positivity. That kid's going to be really fucking good because he listens to people and he shows up and he does the right thing. He just shows up, helps, and sets up and tears down all the time. He actually pays his dues. He's not necessarily worried about like Twitter clout, because at the end of the day, you'll hear me bitch about this all the time about a lot of these newer kids, or hell, even older people generation. Like, they think, oh, I'm loved on Twitter. Why aren't I making millions of dollars? Well, because you got to put the fucking time and work in. A couple of retweets is fantastic, but at the end of the day, that clout's not going to put gas in your tank. Actually, money will. You got to put fucking food on your table. Do the fucking work. I've gone on a rant now. But yeah,
I love it. Keep going.
But Nick King, he's a St. Louis kid. He's been traveling. He's like my wheelman all the time
Cool.
now. He goes everywhere with me as well. He's just now getting involved in Journey a little bit, and he's dabbling into Manarchy. So like, definitely check those two out for sure.
Awesome. I mean, I think you're both excellent, and you can go as many rants as you want, Gary. You have free will on our show here, most definitely. Speaking of that, here, you mentioned that you've been since 2003, so just under 20 years in the wrestling game. I know, I was like, I didn't want to put a number on it, but it's out there. So being with that, I know that you long time held the moniker, well, not just you, but you and Aaron Williams also, the Unsigned Don't Care, kind of this, I don't want to say, like fuck the system sort of thing, but in a way, kind of fuck the system, right? Talking about, just going out there and just doing the hard work and everything like that. For those not familiar, where did that come about specifically, and kind of talk a little bit maybe about your relationship with Aaron as well.
Oh man, Aaron is my number one. I talk to that guy every day. Like he's Bay, as the cool kids would say.
Aaron Bay Williams, what's up?
Yeah. Oh my God, that's awesome.
What's crazy is like he put it in this terms. I'm like super erratic and chaotic. He's really polite and calm. The dude don't cuss. He's the nicest dude in the world, but like you put him in the ring and he's a killer. So it's like yin and yang, as we always say.
Perfect combination.
So basically, we met years and years ago doing Indiana shows together, and then eventually worked together a lot, and then started really talking. And we realized that like, wow, we're kind of old grouchy men here. Like we've been in the game a while, and like. We kind of had the pity party for ourselves for a while. Like, why aren't we on TV? Why aren't we making fucking buku money? Mm-hmm. And it eventually turned into us going, who cares? Like, it seems like any shows we're on, separate, together, tagging, fighting, whatever, it seems like when those shows are over, we're the two guys that everybody is talking about. Those are the two guys that you're leaving going, I paid $25 for that ticket, and it was well worth it just for those two. Not alone the whole show, just those two. So we pretty much just goofy joking around one day, took a picture together after we'd wrestled, and I put hashtag Unsigned and Don't Care because we were just poking fun at everybody. It was like, oh, I did AEW Dark. I'm a badass. Beep, beep, boop, boop, boop. Whatever. Next one. So I was like, this is pretty much our way of saying, we're going to buck the system and go out there and actually put the work in. And if it pays off, awesome. And if it doesn't, I'm having a good time and I'm making money. So like, yes, would I love to be on a bigger level every time out and making the years count even more? Absolutely. The only way that's going to happen, though, is if you fucking put the work in. And trust me, it's a full-time job sometimes to the point where it'll drive you crazy. But this is my choice. This is what I've chose to do. It's not some ticker tape parade and some fucking hobby of mine. It was a hobby. I'd have quit years ago. I should have.
Your body would probably thank you, but
that's how that started. And then like Aaron, in my opinion, is the best professional wrestler to come out of Ohio ever, period. And that says a lot because there's a lot of good wrestlers from Ohio.
Yeah, there's a lot of
there's a lot.
Yeah. So he's my guy. Like we talk all the time, and then it ended up turning into kind of like a thing of like people like kind of like biting onto it, and we just went with it, like with the shirts and the merch, and then like we'll tag, but then we'll go out there and fight too because that's what we like to do.
I mean, I'll see people like retweet and tag Unsigned Don't Care that even don't even like really aren't anywhere near the Midwest at all, following along, and just like I think it just Twitter there we've talked pros and cons a lot, Jamie and I have, about the internet wrestling community. Let's just put it that way. But it's kind of interesting. It's like one of those things. It's like this. You can kind of see the attitude permeate, which I love. I think that's great.
Yeah, I mean, Twitter's awesome. I mean, the wrestling community that just wants to have fun, watch shows, enjoy themselves, buy merch, and have a good time. I love it. Yeah. But we also know the flip side of it is Twitter's got the really weird under dark belly, the toxic Twitter, where like it's insanity. But guess what? At the end of the day, you can turn off your phone and go smell the grass. Go touch some grass, as I say. Go fuck outside.
Yeah.
Step outside, most
Yeah.
definitely.
Go breathe some air. Go fucking make a snowman. You know, like God.
Yeah. So, if there is one person that I could think would be like built for like the GCW crowd or that style, is definitely you. You have had some crazy ass matches. Like you say, like don't sign, don't care. I think it's like no move is untouched. Like you will do about anything. You'll put your body through anything. So what are some, okay, so you don't have to disclose, but what are some of your most memorable matches that were just like had some crazy ass spot and like maybe some injuries you may have sustained? Because people don't understand, like you get fucking hurt a lot.
I'm very lucky, knock on wood or anything like wood. Out of the 20 years, like I've had bumps, bruises, concussions, sprains, separations, but like I've been lucky. That's about it. Unfortunately, I feel the concussions are more of an effect now, so I got to be a little more careful about that. Or the girlfriend sitting on the couch watching The Office will fucking have my head. But but she's right, 100% right.
It's true.
So like, it's one of those things where I feel a lot of times I call it Mick Foley syndrome, where I got to make sure that people get their money's worth. And like, if you know what I'm talking about, you know exactly what his theory is. Like, I hope they got their money's worth after The Rock bludgeons him with a chair 20 times at the Rumble that year. It's like, well, I sure hope that they got their money's worth. Of course they did. It's one of those weird syndromes where, like, I never am told to do any of these things. It's always my own stupid idea, unsigned and stupid ideas. And like, it's one of those things where if I can really make a moment or help somebody in a certain situations, I'm going to do it. Like I've learned to not to cross the line. And if I have crossed the line, I've heard about it because people that actually care about me will say, what the fuck? Like knock that shit off. You're going to get hurt. Or like, you got to use your head and skull and be able to walk. I was like, absolutely. So like, I've taken a lot of dumb shit. And once again, I've never been told to. It's always just kind of my own little like warped mind. I'll come up with it. I would say right off the top of my head, one of the most memorable ones is me and Thomas Shire from Gateway. Was it Gateway to Anarchy? No, Hog Wild. Where he bled buckets. It's on IWA TV right now. It's St. Louis Anarchy Hog Wild, and he bled buckets. But he gave me his UFO move into the crowd.
Oh shit!
Oh my god,
that's cool.
And like
that's
the
cool.
idea was, hey, I'll land on chairs and I'll be fine. Well, I hit one chair and it just got the hell out of the way. So I pretty much went to it sucked.
I think that was gift for like a whole week. It was a gift that was trending for a while.
It was fucking brutal and not the brightest idea I came up with, but it's one of those things where like little asshole cat. Basically, I willingly did that because I felt the match needed it, and like I wanted to give those people their money's worth, and I wanted to help him like realize that like, dude, you're a star, you're as good as you think you are, and these people are about to fucking witness that. It's one of the things where like I want to give back or pay it forward. Unfortunately, a lot of my ideas paying it forward is me bouncing off the fucking floor.
True. Yeah. Well, but at the same token, that kind of what you were saying there. I mean, I've watched some of your ICW matches you did when you were in the fight pit, and a few of them there. And this death match is hard, all brutal shit, this and that. But if you know and you're watching it, I can see that it's like you're not doing the stupid ass risk, and it's like it's all like a very measured way of doing the crazy stuff.
Very calculated. Very calculated. Only will I go buck wild and almost die pretty much for one or two companies. And like St. Louis Anarchy is obviously one of them, like if I want to build somebody and help someone get over, I'm going to do everything in my power in that building or in that situation too. A lot of the pit fighter stuff I've done, to me, death matches, I don't do death matches. That's not my thing. I mean, I respect those guys and I think it's got a great fucking appeal and it's awesome. I love watching it. I don't do it. I make my own flavor of like what I want to do. A lot of my pit fights or no holds barred matches are fights. I'll use doors and chairs, but a lot of them are just fights. And it makes you go, oh, that's different than everything else on the card.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I remember. I can't remember which one it was, but it was one of the ones I saw when it was when they had like the 2 night thing where one was indoor, one was outdoor. Whatever. But like your indoor match, it was not that dissimilar from what we would see in Anarchy or Journey Pro. If you know, 'cause you had chairs and doors and stuff, but there wasn't like the skewers and the fluorescent bulbs and all that jazz and stuff. Which I'm with you, has its place, but I think all
that
of it
was
has
the
its
Shane
place.
Mercer one. Was that the Shane Mercer one?
Yep.
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I had Azrael on the first night, and then I had Shane Mercer in the chains on the second night.
You had Shane Mercer
They were
outside.
both
I was thinking.
outside.
I was thinking of Azrael the first night.
Yep.
Who?
Yeah, where we just went in there and fought, and then the second night, obviously, we used more, weapons and stuff, but still, we kept it into what our realm of like violence is, and then let everybody else on the card do what they want to do.
Which I can appreciate. I totally enjoy. I think especially when you're going to any sort of thing like that, it's like you like seeing the variance, right? You can't if you're going to pay, even if it is $25-$30, whatever, you go to a show, you don't want to sit there for 2-3 hours and see the same match 8-9 times, right?
No, just like
stuff.
everybody likes different varieties of ice cream, and everybody has different flavors of wrestling, and it's cool to enjoy it all and have a good time.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Which, speaking of which, I know Jamie wanted to talk about your most recently announced match for Journey Pro, right, Jamie?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Well, go for it.
Oh, I thought you were
you were the one that's been itching to talk to him about this. I'll do it. I'll take all this fun.
Okay, so
I'll boot you out of here real fast. No.
Yeah, so you are going against the Russian Rogue. I call her the Russian Rogue.
She does not like that. I don't think.
I don't think she'll either, because she's got that silver piece of hair just like Rogue, the X-Men Rogue, obviously. So I've never seen you do an intergender before.
Oh, you haven't? I've seen him do some intergender matches.
I don't think I have.
You have too.
I've done a shit. Can't count on. I've done a decent amount of them.
He fought Kylie Ray at Journey Pro versus Zello Pro.
Well, she was a part of that big tag.
Right, but it came down to this elimination that came to the two of them, or the final two. So
no, the first time I was in there with Callie Ray was the St. Louis Anarchy Ladies Night. I forgot what 2017 or 18, where we had a singles match, and then once again,
right.
Me, and then we did the Zello Pro versus Journey Pro teams, and she was on the Zello Pro team, and I was on the Journey Pro.
Yeah, and that was elimination that came down just the two of you there.
Correct. Yep.
Well,
now, have you had any experience with Masha yet? I know she was at Journey Pro, faced off against Heidi Howitzer, but have you done anything with her yet, or
been on a show with her or something like that?
Nope. This is a first time fight, so I'm pretty stoked because she's got like a reputation for being like really tough and gritty and brutal. So obviously, so do I. So shit's gonna get.
Do.
Well, we got a little, and if anybody else watched Journey Pro's announcement video with Chris and Hartzell releasing almost all of the card, they still have one match at the time of recording that they have to refigure, but the release of the entire card, they did a little inside baseball and let it be known that you were the one who requested this match.
Yeah. Yep. Because I remember I talked to Walter for a while, and then he said that she'd said something about wanting to fight me, and I was like, well, let's do it then. So I kind of hold my weight, and then it's happening. So I guess we'll see who's better now.
I'm all for it. I think my favorite comment from there, and I'm ashamed I didn't think of this on the live stream, was, "Oh God, none of the chairs are safe at Blip Roasters."
Yeah, they should chairs up at that time. And they're right, Woody. He agrees.
He's right. Woody.
That's awesome. Yeah, dude, that match looks amazing. I'm really excited about it because we saw Masha go. Obviously against Heidi, we saw her up at Pro Wrestling Revolver. She showed out there as well, and we've seen you multiple times, jumping off a damn U-Haul on a softball field, which is one of the coolest spots I've ever seen actually in person. But yeah, that looks really damn exciting. So I know you got a few more matches lined up. What other matches you got coming on the horizon that are intriguing? I know you talked about the ones down in Texas, but what else you got going on?
Let's see. Texas is this weekend, and then I believe the following week is Journey Pro Friday, correct? On the 8th.
Friday 18th. Yeah.
It's the only day of the week I'm fighting that weekend is against Emma on Journey Pro at Blip Roasters. By the way, I don't drink coffee, so that place everybody loves. I'm just like, it's a thing.
Jamie
I don't drink
doesn't
coffee either. Yeah.
So then I believe after that, I'm at Anna Fight Underground February 24th. And it's at like a skating rink. It's on a Thursday night in Anna, Illinois.
It's a good place for a show. Skating rink.
W kind of vibe feel because everybody there likes ECW, so they kind of model some of their stuff after that. It's a good time.
Okay.
Fun. And once again, I get to fight and get paid, so I'm not going to complain about that.
Right.
I believe I end February at 01 USA on February 26th. Not sure yet who I'm fighting or who said victim is, but I know I'll be there.
Awesome.
So somebody's getting their nipple chopped off by Gary J. We don't know who yet. So
we'll find out eventually, right?
Yeah.
They got to announce it. If they want to sell tickets, they better announce it. I mean, let's just be honest. So that being said, talking about the Gary J movement, and Gary J movement is such a cool thing. Merch all over the place. I have a disappointment in that though, Gary.
Go on.
Where's the flag at? Why is there no Gary J movement flag I can buy on Fully Gimmicked?
Oh, like the little one, like
the actual flag, like the flag that you wear, like the flag.
The one I actually wear, and the one that there's the one I hung up. I actually got those made myself. They didn't make them.
Oh, okay.
Fun fact: the one I wear, the orange one that says Gary J Movement with the cat logo on it. Jason Klein, who is a big St. Louis Anarchy supporter and fan, made that originally for me when I did the SCI tournament out in Chattanooga area. I call it the Chattanooga Cartel area. So he made that and gave it to me, and then I was like, "Fuck, this is dope." I don't want to just bring out like a flag, so I wore it like a cape because I'm a huge Batman fan. And I was like, "Oh, I'm Batman." So and like now with me evolving the movement into the hashtag called the Gary J stuff, like I was like, okay, now think more fighter. So I wear it more like a flag around my neck, like a Conor McGregor or like a boxer or like an MMA fighter. I'm evolving the movement to the cult to see where everything goes, because eventually like we've seen this 1,000 times over, so you got to evolve things and move forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if you could shed light on the movement changing to the cult of Gary J, like what is the decree of the cult of Gary J for everybody here?
Basically, the movement was just pretty much me being, a guy that most people looked at first and like, we don't think much of this. And then, obviously I end up going out there and fucking doing what I do. And they're like, oh shit. And I feel like when it comes to an audience or people watching, there's a lot of people that get just tossed aside because they don't look like much. But then again, they're very vital, or they can add to any situation. So like, that's where the movement started. Like those are my people. And like with the cult thing now, like, okay, we got to switch it up. So it's almost very similar, but now it's more like, okay, I know I'm that fucking guy. I know I'm going to be your guy, but now we're going to get a little more edgier with it, with like certain promos and like the way I word things.
Yeah, like I will have to say, the last time we saw you, I saw something, and I'm like, oh shit, this has been eating
at Jamie for ever since Die Hard 2, just so you know.
So I'm a big heel guy. Like basically, if you're a heel, I will cheer for you, except for Jeremy Wyatt. But like you grab tights on Christian Rose, I'm like, oh shit. That's a heel move. Like, is he turning heel? And which would be like the greatest thing ever, because like the cult, like it's perfect. Like I'm your guy. I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. It's
my thing is that Gary J is Gary J. It's kind of like it doesn't matter, what the label is. He's just Gary J. So
what's cool is like there's your discussion. Then you have a good time talking about it. It makes it's fun. It's not one of those things where you're griping about. You're like, wait a second, did he just do that? And your thought, why wouldn't he? He's trying to fucking win. Like, that's who he is. Mm-hmm. And actually, wrestling that makes people think is fucking awesome.
Absolutely. Like one of the best things that I still remember, and you were a part of it, was when Hoodie was doing his last match against
Oh,
you.
where the last match
And
marker came from.
and that match fucked. That match fucked so hard. It was such an amazing match. And then he did that like total switch on everybody. Got everybody hook, line, and sinker. And like you do that shit too, like with that, like the little things, like for me, of course, I'm that little minor detail guy. I'm a technical wrestler nerd by heart, but I love the brutality that you bring too, like that strong style. And when you did that, I'm like, oh fuck. And like to your point, like if you are in fans' minds, like if you do stuff like that, you're winning. That means you are living rent free in their head, and then hopefully that leads to merch and them following you and all that good stuff. So keep it up, man.
Exactly. And that's the thing, like I'm not out here trying to reinvent the wheel, but
Yeah.
I am a very big advocate of. I'm a '90s kid. I love the '90s. Anything '90s. So what was in the '90s? WWF. You know, like Shawn Michaels' 1996 title run is one of my favorite ones. Like Shawn Michaels best of all time. Like there's no argument there. I'll argue anybody about that. But then you get older Gary. You know, teenage Gary. He finds ECW. I mean, I was just watching episode 10 of ECW on TNN before I did this.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
ECW fan, and like obviously you can see through some of my work, like, okay, this makes sense. Or the Gary F and J ripoff from ECF and W. Like,
Yeah.
thank you, Paul. A lot of people.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. A lot of reinvent the wheel. It's like wrestling to its common core is like can be really basic, and sometimes that's all you need. Like complicate shit now where people in the audience are going, not really sure what I just watched or saw, but I think it was kind of cool.
I mean, at this point, you know, we're looking at it now, and wrestling in the forefront of pop culture because it has been around 100 years, right? You know, professional wrestling, you know, but at the forefront, you know, really take from Andre the Giant into Hogan, so like 80s in through the 90s, and then you know to now. Everything's been done for the most part. There's still probably some gimmicks out there that nobody's thought of. That's like, oh my god, right? But for the most part, gimmicks have been done. Things have been done. Storylines, factions, turns, heel turns, crosses, double. It's all been done in a way. It's about. I look at wrestling now, especially when we talk to like some younger kids too. You know about kind of some things that we dig and we follow and we vibe on and stuff. It's like it's not that it's new, it's just a new presentation that blows your mind is the thing, you know? It's like
it's how you perceive it and how you present it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I mean, the perfect example is the rise of Adam Hangman Page. Like that slow burn that they did and you finally got the payoff. That shit's been done 1,000 times over. It's always about the chase. And it's like
there's a lot more money in the chase.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It was done with. I mean, they did the same thing with Macho Man back in the day, and it's just like the slow burn.
Storytelling, as crazy as it sounds, and some of the stuff I've done, but like storytelling at the forefront is one of the best things about wrestling. That's what gets people emotionally involved. If people can't emotionally connect to you or get mad at you or whatnot, and because you're out there just doing, you know, all the cool shit you saw on fucking PWG, then what's the point?
Right. I mean, for storytelling, this would just be ultimate fighting or less ultimate fighting, you know, because it's not going all the way. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I love the storytelling. Like that's our big thing too. And speaking of storytelling, I figured this would be a nice way to change gears onto some storytelling. You're a big Batman guy.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get into what part of Batman? Are you a comics guy, movie guy? Like what is your
guy?
Yeah.
I think my love for Batman started the animated series.
Okay.
Which is to me the best animated series still.
Kevin Conroy is the longest reigning Batman of all time.
Right.
So.
I mean, it's amazing. And then obviously, like I like some of the comic books. I'm not like the biggest fan. I don't religiously read every comic book, but like the movies I love as well. Like even the fucking Schumacher movies that people dog on, they're fun. I get what they are. Like they're not great, but they're fun. But like the Tim Burton Batman movies, I love. Man, I went back recently and I watched Batman and Batman Returns, and like once again, people can pick things apart all they want, but I just watch as a fan and someone who likes Batman. Like I have so much fun watching stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like it's so cool. And Michael Keaton as Batman is fucking it's totes my goat, man. Like that's fucking class right there. That's so good. Like I'm so excited for him to be in the Flash movie. As
Flashpoint's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy.
I don't care for Flash, but I was like, well, gotta go now and spend money because fucking Michael Keaton's gonna be wearing the bat suit for 5 times.
See, I've never been that big in like, and I am a big comic guy. I mean, I have a lot of gigabytes full of I have a tablet here that's like 130 gigabytes full of comic books. So I have the entire Batman series, like every Batman comic ever, along with a bunch of other stuff. But I've always been more of a DC comic fan. Batman is the reason why. I never really got into Flash that much, but I like the Flashpoint story because part of it, and one of the offshoots, is where we get the Thomas Wayne Batman. You know, where Flashpoint goes back, changes the world, changes his mother from dying, and that, you know, is the butterfly effect and things change, right? And one of the things that changed was Bruce Wayne died by the robber. His dad became Batman. His mom became the Joker, and it's just like the mind fuck of that is great. Crazy. So I really want to see how they do all that. What are your thoughts on the new Batman that's coming out here next month?
Oh, Robert Pattinson?
Are you pro or?
I'm all about it. I think he's fucking knock it out of the park. Like
good.
I'm excited because I've read like, ooh, it's a very gritty, dark version of Batman. I'm like, well, so then Batman, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, so perfect.
He actually says, "I am justice," which is like a classic comic line too. Oh God.
Yeah, so it looks fun and it incorporates some different things that most people aren't used to, which I like. It's gonna be really fun. I think it's gonna be like 3 hours long, maybe.
It's supposed to be longer than 3 hours, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my God!
It's gonna
Snyder
be
cut.
it's gonna be
all over
fucking
again.
long. Which, I mean, I'm all for it. I'm gonna go to the theater. I'm gonna enjoy it. I haven't been to the theater yet since COVID, but I'm excited for that. It's interesting because we were talking to JDX about this too, because he said he's a big Batman fan as well. And he's like, I don't know if I'm feeling Robert Pattinson. And I go, really? This guy looks.
I think it's cool because it's a younger version of Bruce Wayne. We always see him kind of older and beat up. This is like the young, beat up version of Bruce Wayne.
But it's not like the origin story either, which I like too. It's like
because we've heard that 500 times.
He's Batman exists. He's been around, but he's still like only a couple years in. So I like the grittiness of it. Jamie said he's big on the detective aspect. And this is what apparently like the story is lines that they're basing a lot of this movie off of, at least canon wise, are very detective heavy Batman, which is like, that's cool, that's great. That's the way Batman was in the animated series. He was a detective first,
I'm excited. Like I'd watch Batman fucking sit on a fucking ship and just float in the water.
With you 100%.
So rank your Batmans.
Rate Batman. Okay. Just because the first VHS I ever owned with the VCR was Batman Returns, I'm gonna say that's number one. Like, I just love it. You fucking Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, Dan DeVito's Penguin, like that trio right there, Keaton, DeVito, and Michelle Pfeiffer is money. Like,
it's almost the best Christmas movie ever. If it wasn't for Die Hard, it
one of them. Yeah, it's one of them, if not the. That's my opinion. I'd say Batman Returns, and then, like, that's a hard one. Batman Returns, and then, like, I would have to go with the trilogy. Doesn't matter what order of Christopher Nolan's version.
Nolan
Batman.
trilogy. Okay.
Dark Knight. People love Dark Knight because of Heath Ledger and the Joker. Great. I really like Dark Knight Rises. I know there's some plot holes and people bitch about that, but whatever. It's a movie. I love Bane. Fucking Tom Hardy is Bane. Amazing. The dude acted through the movie through his eyes and his mannerisms.
He got a lot of crap for the whole voice thing, but if you think about it, that voice made so much more sense for the character, and some of my favorite lines, oh, you think darkness is your alley. You only adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't know the light until I was already a man. So then it was nothing to me but blinding. I mean, he killed it. I am with you.
It's awesome. Like you said, like all three of those movies, like the Nolan trilogy is amazing. And obviously Batman Begins is really good too. It's just a slower pace because the origin story, they actually tell you, oh, this is how he became Batman, which is cool because most movies, you see the family die and then he's like, I'm Batman.
Right.
Yeah.
Even Batfleck, they did that for fucking Batman vs Superman. They did this. It's like they did the origin story in the credits. It's like, God damn it! Yeah. Everybody knows the origin story. Leave it alone.
What did you guys think of Jared Leto's Joker?
I didn't hate his Joker. I didn't like how I like the idea of his Joker. I think his performance was fine for what it was. I kind of dug the over the top gangster. I dug the look of it and the feel of it. If it was presented in a better package of a movie, I think it would have been better. That's my opinion.
And for me, I don't feel like I didn't have enough of it to form a solid opinion if I liked it or not. Like it was just not enough of him. I don't know. I have mixed feelings. Like it could go good. It could easily spiral off and be just complete garbage. I didn't get enough to form a solid opinion. Yeah, I'm a huge cinephile. So
what do you think, Gary?
A lot of people kind of said the same thing. I liked it. Like to me, it was just like, okay, this Joker is more of a gangster. It's a little different. You have Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger. You can't do anything compared to them, and you're just gonna get shit on. So
absolutely,
he tried something different, and you can't blame him. And a lot of that is in the writing and production. That's not his.
Mm-hmm.
No, not really. I mean, because I think that the only way you could. Most of the Joker tales are somewhere in between what Ledger and Nicholson played. He's just some of them are like a little bit more, but mostly he's an unknown, guy who has this cult following, is crazy, but he's calculated. So it's somewhere between the two of them. And I think you're 100% right. I don't know. I really see the parts I liked about him, like when he was in the club talking to Common, who was in there, and he was eyeballing Harley.
Enjoy that scene. Yeah.
You got that. You got just the sinisterness of him, and so anyway, I would have liked to have seen them do more with that. And we and JDS talking about this too. I didn't hate Ben Affleck, and here's why I didn't hate Ben Affleck as Batman. I think he was one of the best representations of Bruce Wayne in the movie.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Oh yeah, totally. I think it was good. I mean, once again, people weren't going to give him credit regardless if he did great because it wasn't what they wanted. So
exactly.
I don't think he did bad. It's just one of those things where it's like he was put in a weird situation.
He definitely was, but I think everybody in that movie was. I think that. Well, I don't want to get into politics of theaters and all that stuff, but it is what it is. I'm super excited for The Batman to come out. I think that's going to be fantastic. I've been geeking out about it for months now, so I'm so glad you're as excited as I am for it. It's going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. I think it's time for some impossible games.
I was going to ask if you had an impossible game form. So we like to do this thing, Gary. We have a couple different variants here, but Jamie's going to give you one of what we do called impossible games. Give you choices where an impossible combination exists. So, Jamie, why don't you go ahead and explain your impossible game to our friend here.
So what we do is we play this game called Feud, Faction, or Fire. It's basically FMK. So you have to either feud with somebody, you decide to do a faction with them, or they are fired, gone, Thanos from existence, they never exist. We're going to do the Batman edition.
Okay.
Okay? So here are your choices. You have to choose between 3 Batmans. One to feud with, one to faction with, one to fire. So you've already said your love for Michael Keaton, so he's not in this. So we get, so we have Patrick Bateman. Oh my God, what's his damn name?
Christian Bale,
thank you. Christian Bale. Robert Pattinson. And you know what? We're gonna do. Oh, I don't want to give you that. That's just a layup. Ah, damn it. Okay, Val
Devin
Kilmer.
Conroy. Oh, I was gonna say you really want to be hard.
Val Kilmer. Fire Kilmer. See you later.
Yeah. See, I knew that was gonna happen.
I'm gonna feud with Pattinson, and I'm gonna be friends with Christian Bale.
Gonna faction with Bale.
Bale.
Do you think you could deal with that voice all the time though? Hi, Gary.
He's
I
closer in
talk about
age, though. I think that's a smart move because you could faction with him. You're closer in age than Pattinson, who's the young buck, right?
Yep. Sorry, Kilmer.
That was a bit of a layup. You should have done Kevin. You should have done Kevin Conroy, which he said was.
I know, but it's like because it was him or Clooney. I'm like, well, no.
Clooney, I'd run over with a car. So yeah.
Clooney is no
And
shot.
back up 3 times. Yeah.
The nipples. All right. So he does that, and I want to do another thing here because you have. I'm not going to speak for Jamie, but you have one of my favorite entrances in all of wrestling.
Oh, I agree.
Primarily because of your choice of music. You know, Wolf Mother, Joker and the Thief. Amazing, right? So, don't know how much of an audiophile you are, but I'm going to make you one for a second. So, you are on a desert. You're on a desert island. You might be alone, you might not. Whatever, doesn't matter. But for whatever purposes, you are in charge of the soundtrack for the rest of this foreseeable future. Okay. And your stipulations are as such. You get to choose a single album that'll play all the time, all day, every day, and a second album that gets to play once through once a year. What are your 2 albums?
I'm going to go the album that plays 24 hours a day. This one's going to throw you for a loop. It's Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pills.
It's a great album, actually. Very good album.
It's a really good album.
Yeah, and no one saw that coming. I
didn't see it, but it's great.
all the time. And then the once a year, I'm going to have to say Frog Stomp by Silverchair.
Ooh.
Wow.
Another fantastic album. Total 90s child. You said earlier, total 90s guy. So
fun fact about Silverchair, my 15-year-old daughter and JJ's bane of existence, Megan, I played Tomorrow because we were just like, let's just talk about, you'll like this. And she's like, what is this? I'm like, it's amazing, right? And she's like, I don't know. I'm like, you need to keep listening because Silverchair is great.
That album is fantastic. I actually have I have 2 versions of that album. I have that album, then I have it's something that happened like recently, like a bunch of like hard rock and like post-hardcore bands started doing covers of like regular bands. So I have like an album that's nothing but that whole entire album front to back covered by other bands.
Interesting.
It is. It's not as good as the original, but it's very interesting in and of itself. But
yeah,
very good choice. I like the Alanis Morissette because I think you were more calculated than us. We chose like one of our favorite albums. You were more along the lines of Jamie. Jamie chose Dark Side.
I chose Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon as my everyday play.
Mine was mine was Rage 1, Rage Against the Machine, self-titled.
And then my once a year, I decided I needed a laugh, so I did Steel Panthers, Feel the Steel.
My once a year was my nostalgia was Zeppelin 4. So, but I think I like the thinking behind both you guys pick albums that you could play all day and it wouldn't necessarily get under your skin, sort of stuff, right? There's some variance with it, so very interesting. So, thank you for playing some impossible games with us, Gary.
Not a problem, man.
All right, we like to turn this time over. It's your time now. We've talked a little bit about some stuff you have upcoming, but I want to give it to you to plug whatever you damn well wish. So it is Plug City. Gary, plug away.
Let's see here. Really, the only thing I want to plug, other than my merch, which is at fully-gimmick.com. I can plug my social media, which is at Stiff Robo Ginger on Twitter. Unsigned and Don't Care on Instagram, and then Facebook is just Gary J, J-Y. And at the end of the day, I just want to plug stuff like wrestling. So if you like local wrestling or wrestling on a national scene, enjoy it, have fun. Actually spend your time doing things with life. Don't sit on your fucking Twitter all day and worry about what so-and-so's doing. Go touch the grass.
Nice.
open your eyes and see real live human beings in front of you, people. Best
Eventually,
words.
people won't know what that is.
Oh, well,
God,
we're not going down that rabbit hole yet. I don't know what to say about that shit.
No.
I won't be one of those. I'll still be going to show with a bunch of fucking avatars. It'll be me and Jamie there marking out when we're 70 years old. I don't give a shit.
Yep.
Exactly. So yeah, those are my plugs. Just enjoy life, because at the end of the day, it's very short.
Damn right. You are
Amen.
goddamn right. So, well, thank you for joining us, Gary. Links for everything he said down below. Definitely go buy some of his merch. It's fantastic. It's comfortable.
Thank you.
It fits you well. You'll sleep in it. You'll love it. All right. So go buy some of his merch. Go check out Gary. As I said, coming up here is going to be in Texas. It's going to be a Journey Pro. We got Anarchy in March. All sorts of stuff. Easiest thing, follow him on Twitter. And while you're down there viewing all this stuff, give us a big old like, give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to hear more. We will be back every Thursday with our regularly scheduled program. And if you're listening to this, it is obviously a Tuesday. That's when our interviews come out. We'll be back next Tuesday with another interview. So follow everything. More updates to come. Jamie, do you have anything else?
Thank you so much for being on here. It was a total blast for sure.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, take us home, Jamie.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down with Total Spotfest, I got 4 words for you. Touch some fucking grass.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time.
Peace.